Hello everyone, and welcome to the 10th edition of the Trends and Insights Soundboard Panel Session, which is a program that engages business leaders and industry practitioners in career transitions. This panel session brings in leaders who have changed their jobs or industries, or have moved from one company to another, or who have been promoted through various roles. My name is Nicholas Ismail, and I'm the Global Head of Brand Journalism at HCL Tech. And today, we're going to explore viewpoints on the various dynamics associated with changing organizations, the expectations on settling into new organizations, how to manage stakeholders in new settings, and the key traits required in career transition success. In the last 3 years, we've done 9 soundboard panel sessions, and we look forward towards doing the 10th session today, where I'm joined by Kanhaiya Mishra, Associate Vice President at Chubb Insurance. Kanhaiya, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, Nick. Thank you for having me here. And it's my pleasure to be part of the Soundboard Session.
No problem, and thank you so much for joining us. Just before we start, could you introduce our audience to your role and your organization?
Yeah, thank you. Sure, Nick. So as you mentioned that this is a panel for transition. So I have recently joined Chubb Insurance as AVP, and more than 20 years in this industry, working for different domain, financial services, where I work for banking, insurance, supply chain. So the few times where I have been in transition, and with that experience, I will share my viewpoints.
First one, how do you view the challenges in the normal course of career transformations, especially during these uncertain and rapidly changing times?
Yeah, sure. That's a very good question for when we are in transition. And as you mentioned that it's time frame, and when we are in transition, always it's a challenge, not in terms of that what we do, but also in terms of what is going to be in new organization or at new place. We do find everything before we decide to join new organization, but still there are unknowns, there are things which we learn. So I view this any transition as an opportunity for learning and thought leadership. When we join new organization, there can be new culture. We get into a new place, people, and sometimes it's a new set of technologies, new set of domains or functional knowledge which is required in new organizations. So these are things which gives the learning opportunity for any new leader. At the same time, there are challenges where as you mentioned that it's unknown time on an uncertain time frame, where we have to be more resilient to face the unknowns. And when unknowns we also see that we have to deliver with minimal resources, or can say that deliver more with less. So those when we come to that stage, our thinking out of the box, or when we consider that what is expected by your team, expectations by all stakeholders, including customers. We vet all those, understand everyone's challenges, and then we see that how we have to do what we have to do. And those phases are the learning curve when we are in transition. And I always take that as a challenge and a learning experience, and that makes me successful in every transition.
Thank you very much. And you mentioned quite a bit about learnings there. Looking back towards the beginning of your career, what was the best advice you ever received from a mentor or someone in a senior leadership position when you were growing in your professional career?
So, as I mentioned, that I have been through a few organizations where I worked. I had good mentors. I have good mentors. So always I have few, but always I learned many things at every stage of professional career, personal career. At every time, we always have different set of learning, different set of mentoring required as we grow at initial phase of career, or as we grow, we have different mentors. So I can consider. I'll explain a few of those where I learned, I accepted, and that helped me to grow. Right. So sometimes when we work, we have something which are in our control, something which are not in our control. So doing analysis that what we can do, what we cannot do. So in initial phase and as we grow, I had that mentoring that, and it was great learning for me, and it's for many of us, that analyze that what we can do, what with in terms of, I can say, what is required and what you commit to. So commit to what you can deliver. That was a great message for me as a learning. And sometimes what happens that when we take things, when we know things, we know that it can be done, it can happen. But committing with time frame, committing with when has to be delivered, what stakeholders, that is a very important to know that what we can deliver, and based on that you commit. And that is a very important for any of us to be successful in profession.
I think that's great. Commit what you can deliver. I mean, please explain some of the other lessons we've got time that you've taken.
I'll take a few examples. I'm sometimes a detail oriented. So I go in very detail and to understand that what is required. And it's very important. We can contribute more when we are detail oriented. So, but we have to consider the time as well. How much time is required to do that? Even for going in detail, and what we can do is which helps us that what we can commit. So when I was doing few things, sometimes what happens when we have expertise, we consider that we can do it, and we don't do impact analysis, or we don't see the dependencies. That's why I was mentioning that some things are in our control, some things which are not in our control. So we commit based on that what we know, but without going in detail and finding that what is required to deliver, we don't look into those dependencies or those what we have to wait some time, and we commit to it. So what my suggestion is, always look from all perspective that what is required to deliver, and looking into all perspective, and then see that what is required and what has to be done to with the timeline perspective, with the scope perspective, with all stakeholders are communicated on everything what is required. So that is a part of it. It's not that just delivery. Everyone is part of that process. that is required. So bringing everyone part of process, aligning everyone what is required to deliver, that is important. So that helps to that every time what you commit and you deliver, you align with that.
So just looking back again to the beginning of your career, how did you perceive the initial phases of your career transition, and did your thought process evolve to become stronger and better at decision making when it came to things like career progression?
We all get into initial phase of the career, knowing much about the professional. We get into academic and to profession. So there are a lot of learnings, and as we learn, we grow, and then we become a decision maker. So we get some expertise initially, and as we grow with that expertise, and we move towards decision making process. So that's why I mentioned that it's a good question, that we get stronger every day or every year. So what I feel that in that process, always collaboration, communication, and thought leadership. These are few key things which helps us to grow and to be a better decision maker. In our work, either we are in transition or initial phase, or as we grow in the same organization or in different organizations, we always need to understand all stakeholders involved part of the process. We have to, so these days I remember that when I can just compare some time frame. There's time when we had few like you can say that certain technology, we evolved in technology side. We are working with I can say today, if with few generations today, if you see that we also work together with multiple generations and with different skill sets, with different expertise. So it's always challenging to get everyone's view together, and it is important to collaborate with everyone, communicate everyone, get engaged yourself. So when I engage myself, I understand that what everyone is going through, what everyone has to do, and what everyone brings expertise. This is very important because everyone has a certain back pocket skills which is required for end-to-end delivery or successful of any programs, any projects, or in any industry. So that is, so when we collaborate and communicate with all, that makes us to understand everyone, to know better what best can be done. If we get engaged ourselves, we understand that what is required, what has to be done. Sometimes someone's viewpoint is better than others. So those view and getting those view, accepting everyone or adapting everyone's view will help us to grow and to be successful and also to be better decision maker, because until unless we'll not understand people, which is important. We also team view at the same time. When customer is important, our employees are important. So it's key. So understand everyone's view, understand everyone's skills, expertise, and it's a chain. Everyone brings some skill set in every area. Every area is important to make entire things successful. So that is my understanding, that collaborating, communicating with everyone, understanding everyone, getting everyone's viewpoint, and engaging with them will make us, or make myself, a better decision maker all the time.
So looking at yourself now, what traits or characteristics do you prioritize when confronted with the unknown territory of career transformation or career transition?
So when we are in transition, it's always unknown territories, and I can correlate to your first questions. And when I mentioned that there are many unknowns in terms of industry, in terms of timeline, and everything. So I remember from childhood, our grandfather generation used to say, if you are going to a lake of unknown area, and all of us generally do, when you step into water, you gaze the depth of the water at every step you put. So it's similar to that. What I understand, when we enter to unknown territories, we vet something initially before entering, and when we enter, understand, going through every time what I mentioned, that you gaze the depth of the depth before you putting your feet in water. Similar to that, when we get into unknown territories, we need to be a good listener. Listening to everyone, listening to all stakeholders is very important. And I can say initial in any organization, when we are in transition, initial 90 days to 100 days, or I can say 3 to 4 months, are very important to listen to everyone and understand what is different stakeholders have different interests, different stakeholders have different challenges, different constraints, and different expectations. So understanding all those and correlating all those would help us in the new territory. At the same time, when we join new organization, when we are in transition, we also bring some values, some our skill sets on the table, which would help. So when we are listening, at the same time, we should understand that what is our strength, what I can bring, how can I help. So that's what I'm mentioning, that initial 3-4 months period are important to correlate those. What are challenges? Where my skill set can help, where I should be involved, or I should step back for some time to understand better. So those are the initial things in unknown territories which would help. And what other things I can say, surround yourself with positive thinking people, or who have positive approach, or so that is very important, that sometimes in new organization or in organization, surrounding yourself with positive thinking or positive approach, it helps you to understand things better. It helps to get things and your thinking in the positive direction, and it is also that you will be appreciated, or any area where you are lacking, they would help you to do better. So that's important. When we are listening, we also understand that what is the positive sides of the things I have to look into, because there are always challenges. Sometimes when we see something that why it is not this way, there would have been some challenges. When things are complex, it doesn't happen overnight to change. Sometimes either we go through the new technology or to implement. Sometimes small things is easy to do. Sometimes complex things might be, there are a lot of things has to be done before it's get into new technology, to implement new technology or to change completely. So there would have been challenges. So sometimes we have that as a positive approach and looking into the same thing, that why it is not getting done, as a negative approach. So we have to see things always from the positive side of the things, and understand things from that perspective. And that's what I'm mentioning, that surrounding myself with positive thinking people who can help me or anyone of us when we are in transition, and at the same time who can appreciate us, because everyone has some sort of learning at every phase or in new organization. Even we are in the same organization, we are at a stage where we have, at every stage or at any stage, we have to have some sort of learning phase we go through, as a different set of skills, different set of in terms of, I can say, domain or technology or soft skills and all those. So those are very important, that in new organization what you need, because every organization are that certain things which always matches, certain things are different, and we have to understand those differences to approach ourselves to that way, what is accepted in the organization, and how we have to adapt that. Adaptability is also important when we are in transition. How can we adapt that process, and with an open mind? It's always good that when we go to new organization, we have to see things with open mind. Sometimes we bring certain skills, but at the same time we have to see that what is new things, how it is done here. And so overall, I can say in summary, we have to be a good listener initially, and adapt things as we grow, and bring our skills which would help to do things better, and that way we will be successful in the transition.
In this rapidly shifting world of technology, where the future of work and the workplace is a slight unknown, can you provide any advice to young professionals, one top tip about how they can adapt to working in these new environments while working with new stakeholders, new positions, new job titles?
That be yourself. You have your own skill set, you have your own values, and you bring something to the table. Every day, compare yourself, not with others, but with yourself, that how you can improve the area where you are involved, where you are working. In my understanding, everything, wherever anyone or myself is assigned to, that is important. That is important for me, that is important for organization. Irrespective of, I'm part of sales, I'm part of development, I'm part of testing, I'm part of production support. In terms of, I'm saying in the IT industry, in any industry, I'm in manufacturing, I'm in any media or any other industry, everywhere where we are involved, do your best. Put your best effort, and that will bring value that makes you happy. Always consider that how we improve, how we can do things better. What we always look beyond our horizon, that there are things which can help us to do better. These days there are tools which are available. I can consider when I go early of my career, if I have to find something, I have to find a book, and nowadays everything is available online. It was limited availability that time, where I have to go and find online. So to improve, there are tools available, there are things, multiple source, I can say, available. If you are in organization, there are people to help. It's not that everyone knows everything. If we are interested, we can get, there are many sources. Anytime we have to, if you want to expand our horizon to learn something new. And always you have, I can consider that, be a student, to learn all the time, and that makes you better every day. And for learning, what I mentioned, that we have things available to do better. So that would help. And I can say, over a period of time, you will feel that you are with these information available, you gauge yourself and see that where we are and what we need to do next. So that's the message.
Kanhaiya, thank you very much for all those great pieces of advice. Continuously learning, be yourself, lots of new tools available. That was great. I'd just like to thank you so much for your time and for all your great insights. Thank you for joining us on the 10th edition of Soundboards.
Thank you, Nick. It's my pleasure, and thanks a lot.